this, can everyone see that okay?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so we're just going to keep this short and sweet. I think I'm going to talk for a few minutes just about CoFounders program, give you an overview of the dates for 2022. And joining us in the session, we have Mary Jane McBride and Lauren Burns. They're from PATH. So they have created the PATH Help app, and that helps women understand and track health symptoms. I'm not going to speak too much about it though, because they are going to tell you about it themselves. But this year they have been working through the CoFounders program, and they're currently on the final stage of CoFounders Plus, which is due to wrap up next month. And they're also one of our winning teams from 2021. So they were successful then in pitching for the 10K grant. So they've joined us today just to talk a bit about PATH and their experience on the program. And I should introduce myself, sorry. My name is Shifra. I work on the CoFounders team. And at this point of the year during the recruitment stage, I am responsible for supporting any applicants or interested applicants who are coming to us from a university or an FE college background. So whether that is as a student, as an undergrad, a postgrad, you could be a postdoctoral researcher, lecturer, support staff. If you're coming from any kind of academic context, then my role is just to ensure that you have the right information that you need when you're applying for the program. So thank you very much for joining us today. So let me switch to the next screen. So yes, firstly, what is CoFounders? So it's a program for anyone who's interested in startups and entrepreneurship. But as you can imagine from the name CoFounders, we focus heavily then on the importance of finding the right team, so that your startup has the right skill set and experience that you need to get an idea off the ground. And so there's a lot of focus on that team formation part at the beginning of the program, and I'll speak a bit about that in a minute when we look at the dates for 2022. It is now a year-long program. It used to be about 4 months, but as of 2021 now we have expanded it, so it runs from January until December. And it is designed to work around full-time education or work. So we run weekly workshops and masterclasses, and for the first part of the program, those will run on a Monday evening from 6 to 8:30 or 6 to 8. And we are currently trialing the second half, and I know we do need to rework the times a little bit just to work around everyone's availability. So it is likely then next year that will follow the same pattern as the first half, and it will be Monday evenings and potentially Wednesday evenings as well. So coming into CoFounders, and we have 3 types of applicants who come into the program. So our first type is an individual who has an idea for a product or service, and what we're looking for are high growth potential products or services. So for example, if you were coming to us with an idea maybe for a coffee shop, that maybe wouldn't be the best fit for CoFounders, and we focus heavily on high growth and looking, to something that we could then export outside of Northern Ireland as well. So we're kind of, we don't have a sort of stipulation of what types of ideas come in, but a lot of the times it would be, tech or apps or, technology-based ideas. So the idea is that an individual might have an idea for something innovative, some kind of solution. Maybe an undergrad has spotted a potential idea for something that they're studying, but they don't have the skills or the experience then to make that idea turn into reality. So that's where our second type of applicant comes in, and these are people who have skills that they know that a startup would need. So we would have, software engineers coming in, people with marketing backgrounds, people with financial experience. They come into the program, and the idea then is that we can match up people with the ideas with the right skill sets in their team formation. And then the third type of applicant can be a team. So we do accept applications from teams of up to 4 people who have already been working on an idea. Maybe they've started to develop it, but if they want to come through the program together as a team, then they're welcome to apply together. Some of the teams who come in want to find another person to add to their team. Maybe there's a missing skill set. So they're welcome to come in and look for that person. Other teams might be happy as they are, and they're also welcome to come in and just go straight through as that pre-formed team. So the schedule for 2022. So our applications close next Tuesday, I believe. So we're getting near to the end of the application stage, 30th of November. And if you apply in the first week of December, you'll then get an email from us where we will schedule a very short interview with you. And that will take place in the second week of December. And that's really just for us to talk through, if you're coming in as an ideas person, just to talk through your idea. If you're coming in with skills, it's just for us to talk through, you know, your experience and what it is that you're looking to get out of the program. If you apply as a team, we'll interview you all together as a team then. So the Hothouse weekend is really where the program kickstarts. That takes place at the end of January, and that will be a Friday evening and a Saturday. So during the Hothouse weekend, that is the main networking stage. So everybody will have a bit of work to do before that in terms of putting together like a short pitch of either their idea or their skill set. You'll get a chance then to meet everybody in the cohort. We would anticipate that there would be maybe about 100 people coming into that. And there will be different workshops during that weekend to start to facilitate some teamwork. So you can start to identify who out of the cohort matches the skills that you need, or what ideas stand out to you that you might want to approach and sort of pitch your skills for. So then following the Hothouse weekend, there are a couple of weeks of networking then. And in February, we have a design thinking bootcamp. So this is more of a training weekend where we go through some of the key tools that will be used during the core program. And we'll cover different things, you know, like design thinking, how to conduct a sprint, and the concept of failing fast as well, which our core program really focuses quite heavily on. You know, phase one of the program runs from February to May, so this will be the Monday evening workshops. And the focus here is really on testing out your idea. It's all about validation, seeing, you know, do you have something there, speaking to your potential customers. The aim is then by the end of the core program, we want you to be able to say, if you're in a position where, yes, we have something here that we could take further, or maybe this isn't actually the way to go for this idea. Maybe we need to, you know, strip things back and have another go at it. So at that point, if you do feel like you do have something that you would like, you know, to take further and form a company, we have a demo night then, where we will have 10,000 pound grants for the teams. And usually by this stage of the program, there are maybe about 20 teams. So there is a very good chance then of securing one of those grants if you do make it to that point of the program and you do want to progress further. If you do get one of the grants, then you get entry into phase 2 of the program. So that's CoFounders Plus. That runs from September to December. And the main point of this part of the program is it's much more practical in terms of looking at actually setting up the company, assigning roles within the company, looking at your marketing, your branding, your PR. And at the end of that, our aim is that you would have a workable prototype and also a pitch deck for investment. So that is basically an overview of the CoFounders program. I know it's quite a lot. One thing that I do want to emphasize though is that there's no kind of, as much as we want to have commitment from everybody in terms of being able to attend the workshops and things, we're not saying if you sign up for CoFounders that you're tied to, say, the team that you join, or that you're tied to the product or service. You know, you are, at any point you feel like actually maybe this isn't for me, this is maybe not the right route that I want to take. You know, it's not like you're tied in, you can step out at any time. Equally, during the Hothouse weekend, if you don't find the right team, or, you know, you try working with a few people, maybe it doesn't work out, you're more than welcome to come through the CoFounders program. in the next cohort as well. So it's not like, you know, it's a one shot at co-founders, and if it doesn't work, you're out kind of thing. You know, it is we do try to facilitate making it easy for people to innovate. So people are welcome to come through the program as many times as they need to find the right team. So that is basically an overview of the 2022 co-founders year. And there's a lot of other reasons, you know, to take part in the program aside from all of the above, in terms of finding your team, going through, you know, the different stages of the startup process. It is an excellent networking opportunity. You will get to meet a lot of very interesting and well-connected people, both in terms of the cohort, the people who are applying, but also in terms of the facilitators who will be running the sessions. Like I said, that we have £100,000 then in grants that are available then, so 10K grants. And it is just a very good way to sort of test out an idea in a safe environment, and a supportive environment. And it's a good way also to, you know, get into the Catalyst kind of ecosystem. Following on from co-founders, there are other programs within the company then that can further support you in your startup journey. So if anybody, you know, I will have questions and answers at the end here if anyone has any questions, but, you know, if anyone would like to have a chat with me before putting in an application, if you want to run an idea past me before putting anything in, that's my email address. I will put it into the chat in a minute. And then the link to apply is at the bottom, and I will also put that in. But just conscious of time, I will hand over to Mary-Jane and Lauren here. And thank you. So if you guys want to share your screen.
Yep, I'll share here. Thank you. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen here. Awesome. Yeah, so I guess just to start off, we'll maybe introduce ourselves. So my name is Mary-Jane, though most people call me MJ. I'm a software engineer in my full-time job, and now I can say I'm an entrepreneur part-time, working on Path. And yeah, so that's me. I'll pass over to Lauren.
Yeah, so hey everybody, I'm Lauren. I was a software engineer for the past 5 years in my full-time job, as MJ said, and I've now recently moved over into product consultancy as well. And I am also one of the co-founders of Path Health App. And yes, and we've also then come through the co-founders journey and the co-founders plus program.
Yep. So yeah, I guess to get started then I think we'll keep things quite casual for this, but we do have like just a bit of a spiel about what is Path. So Path is basically a user-focused app that tracks symptoms of long-term illnesses affecting women to accelerate diagnosis and aid research. Users enter their symptoms into the app, which analyzes the data, identifies patterns, and generates a health summary that they can give to their GP. And users can also track their female reproductive health history, manage their medical appointments, and access a symptom library that will help you track the right symptoms to bring to a clinician. And that's where we are now. For MVP, we are focusing on endometriosis, which is a condition that affects 1 in 10 of women and those assigned female at birth. And despite how widespread this condition is, and how debilitating it can be for people with this condition, it's still widely unknown. And in the UK, it actually takes an average of 8.5 years to get diagnosis of endometriosis, which is a progressively worsening condition. So every day counts for those who are suffering. And it's our hope that by focusing on this condition to begin with our MVP, we'll be able to help a neglected group of people to better understand their symptoms and to be able to reach out to a doctor as well as advocate for themselves and health appointments and get referrals that they need. And by anonymously collecting this data, who knows what kinds of insights could be gained when we put this data in the hands of the right research organizations. But this is like us at the other end of co-founders and co-founders plus and a long journey. So how did we get to where we are now? I guess it all started off with a hackathon in October 2020, which is whenever we first came up with this idea of working on a symptom tracker. We won Best Use of AWS then, which kind of encouraged us to keep on working on the project after the hackathon, especially when AWS reached out to us and encouraged us to keep working on it. And not only did they offer resources to get started, they also offered us some valuable contacts who were also really encouraging. And then we basically spent the next couple of months researching and validating our concept. And then at the start of 2021, we applied for the CoFounders program then, as it aligned perfectly with our roadmap. I'm sure on the website you can see the timeline of the CoFounders program, and how it helped you develop a prototype and a pitch and things. So yeah, we applied for CoFounders as an already established team of 4 people and with a business idea. Of course, as Shifa said, that's totally not necessary. You can apply without a team, you can apply without an idea. All you need to do is bring yourself and your skills, and you can find those things along the way, which is what makes the CoFounders program awesome. Yeah, Lauren, do you think I missed anything in the sort of start of our journey?
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I would add is that, it sounds like we had it all figured out whenever we applied for CoFounders, and like I would just like to highlight that is absolutely not the case. We definitely had a concept, but that we wanted to explore further, but we weren't even sure if this was an incredibly viable business idea, if this was something that we could take as far as we have now taken it. And you'll kind of see when we chat about CoFounders and the value we got from it, but CoFounders really gave us the structure and helped us figure out exactly what our value proposition was, helped us pivot and focus on something that we could really deliver as an MVP rather than trying to solve all the world's problems with our first release.
Yeah, absolutely. CoFounders provided us with amazing tools and learning through workshops and coaching sessions, and that helped us to do market validation, user research, and user identification, which seems really obvious, but when you drill down into it, you can be quite surprised. Prototyping and coming up with data to back up decisions when we are iterating on our prototype, and as well as that, pitching with confidence and learning basically how to sell your idea. We ended up getting through to the final pitching stage of CoFounders and won the £10,000 grant. And that was like a lot of hard work on top of CoFounders. So obviously there was CoFounders on the Monday evening for us. It was 2.5 hours and plus coaching sessions throughout the week. And we were meeting on Saturdays as well to work and collaborate and strategize. And so it was a lot of hard work, but at the end, winning that £10,000 grant for us was huge encouragement, and it really encouraged us to take the plunge and register Path as a business. So we're now on the Companies House website. You can look us up, Path Health App Limited. We are now officially business founders. Since finishing CoFounders then, we've continued to develop and refine our prototype, always keeping that user-centric design and those principles that we were taught in CoFounders. We've been offered a place then on Catalyst's very first CoFounders Plus program, which is really exciting, although also almost finished at this stage. As was mentioned, it's wrapping up next month. And on CoFounders Plus, we've had also more fantastic workshops with industry-leading experts, mentorship from business experts and founders. And we've also met an experienced designer through the program who's given us a lot of support and helping us find our first UX designer. to consult for us and our team and help us build our first high fidelity prototype, which we're hoping to have very soon. And yeah, it's been amazing. So yeah, that's how we got to where we are right now, I guess.
Just on the matter of like the time commitment and stuff, MJ, so to give a bit of context, I have only recently just finished university. So I was in final year whenever we kicked off CoFounders in January. So just for anybody that is on the call or is maybe going to listen retrospectively, if you are still at university or work or you're doing it part-time or whatever it is you're doing, it is a big time commitment, CoFounders, and you really do get as much out of it as you put in. But I just wanted to highlight that as somebody who kind of finished off their degree whilst doing the program, it is work, but it's absolutely worth it, and it's very possible to still do it and finish your degree and do well in your degree as well. You can manage both, especially if you end up with a really supportive team as well, because especially whenever crunch time came in April, May, and I was finishing my report and everything, it was amazing having a really supportive team to kind of help me out while I was trying to finish everything off as well. But it's definitely very, very doable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lauren's honestly superwoman for all that she achieved in her final year of university. So I guess then about a little bit more about the CoFounders program and kind of maybe what we found the most useful for us. So there are a few things. I think first of all, we were forced to challenge our assumptions, and that led to some really interesting pivots for us, especially thanks to the one-to-one coaching sessions that were offered, as well as the workshops. Just being able to speak with somebody who can sort of challenge your assumptions, like in those sessions, and give you some pointers and ask you tough questions that need to be asked, was really useful. I also think CoFounders helped us to focus in on the area of endometriosis rather than trying to solve all of the problems within female healthcare, which would take a lot of work. And yeah, breaking down that problem was really essential. And also, me and Lauren were chatting about this yesterday. We both kind of agreed that if not for CoFounders, we probably would have started coding a long time ago. But the coaches and the workshops, they encouraged us to be really patient and spend time now making sure that we're building the right product, because once you start coding something, kind of becomes a precious project that you don't want to dismantle. But whenever you're just doing wireframe prototypes, it's okay to scrap something that isn't working. And then lastly, the pitching stages, well, they could be a little bit ruthless. They forced us to be smart and savvy and really think about what sells. And that helped us understand that while we may be experts in our problem area, investors are not, which forced us to really simplify our pitch. And yeah, winning that 10,000 at the end gave us so much confidence and enabled us to then go on to register our business. And we're now aiming to take Path full time within hopefully the next 12 months. That's our goal. Yeah, and I guess then to summarize or like what's kind of in store for the future. Oh, I've gone backwards on my slides, sorry. So we've registered our business, we've got all our social media, you can find out more information on our website. And right now we're working with a designer to create our high fidelity prototype, which upon completion means we can finally start coding, which we're really excited to do. We have also been accepted onto another entrepreneurship program, which is an all-Ireland program. We're hoping to grow our network and reputation so that we can seek out potential investors and funding opportunities. And yeah, continuing to build our brand, our social media strategy. And yeah, we're really excited for the future. That's it. That's everything. Don't know if anybody has any questions for us. If not, you can also email us if you have questions. We're totally happy to answer any questions about the Co-Founders program and our experience. And if you want to ask us, like I don't know, for any advice or anything about getting started with a business, I mean, we can only offer our experience, but yeah, feel free to get in touch. Thanks.
Yeah, Lauren and Jay, thank you so much for telling us about your experience in the program. And I know definitely, you know, it's one very enjoyable element on my part, being able to see teams progressing through it, and you know, the amount of progress that can be made in just a few months is very inspiring, I think. And another element actually that I was thinking, you know, the Co-Founders Plus stage, I think at that point, you know, the teams have gone through the core program together. It's 10 teams, and I feel like it's a very supportive environment across the teams as well. You know, I've kind of picked up on a lot of conversations going on between teams where, you know, different sources of support or, you know, recommendations for different services different teams have come across, you know, they're sharing that information amongst themselves. And I feel like it is a very sort of nice, supportive environment too, within the program, just within the cohort. I think if you are, like you say, it is Monday nights, it's a lot of work together. So it is also a good chance just to kind of build a good support network around you.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like a wee entrepreneurial family that's like pre-built for you, and they all want the best for you. And it's amazing. That's
what you want at the end of the day, you know, good support and good signposting. You know, if you don't know where to get the help, at least you have the network in place to find out from them where to go. So thank you both very much. And I also just want to ask again, is anybody any questions that they have either for Catalyst or for Path? Jeff?
I'll jump in, Shifa. Thank you very much. MJ and Lauren, that was really interesting. Could I ask, I mean, what size is your team? Just as the two of you here today, was it a bigger team, or is it still a bigger team involved in the business?
Yeah. Go ahead, Lauren.
Sorry, it's so hard whenever you can't see people and you're just kind of jumping in. So yeah, so as MG said, we started off whenever this all kicked off, like last October, November time. There was 6 of us originally, but that was before we even realized that we were going to turn this into a business. That was when we just went to a hackathon, and we just went as a group of friends, and this kind of all came from that moment. So by the time we then got to apply for co-founders, we'd gone down from 6 to 4. But as you said, there's only the 2 of us here this evening. So whenever we did all of the original co-founders program with a team of 4, and then whenever we finished co-founders, the initial piece, and we had won our £10,000, we were registering as a company, that's when then one of our other co-founders then decided at that point that she was going to drop off before things got really, really serious. And it was just really that she found it wasn't working with her lifestyle. She had other things that she wanted to do and prioritize in life. And as we said, building a business is a big time commitment, and it's only, like MJ will attest, the last like 2-3 months, it's just ramped up like crazy, which is really exciting when you want it. But for her, it just wasn't for her. So she's dropped off. So there is 3 of us. Now at the moment, we also have Claire Byrne, who is our CTO, but she's just not here this evening. So we went from an initial 6 down to 3, which is a much more manageable co-founding team, in our opinion anyways. And so it just kind of organically boiled itself down to a smaller few.
Is there it's more a question for Shifa, is there a sort of standard team size, or just whatever fits best for the co-founders program?
The teams do vary in their sizes. Our only ask is, you know, when they're coming into the program as a pre-formed team, that it is capped at 4 people. We've just found that size works best within the program. But across the teams that we currently have, you know, we have teams of just 2 people, 2 co-founders working together. In some cases, we've had, you know, 2 co-founders and 1 has dropped out. The remaining co-founder, who then becomes essentially just the founder, you know, it's not like if their co-founder drops out that we say, well, you're out of the program. So we do let everybody stay in the program once they're in it. So we do have some teams of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 at the moment is just the max that we would take.
Can I just clarify something? When I was sort of asked this, I mean, CoFounders is open to all. It's not, you're just specifically targeting graduates and academics, but you have teams from people who are working in everything.
100%. Yes, it's just, so my role then would be the academic side. My colleague then, Patrick, he would be on the industry side. So he would be approaching the likes of Seagate or Microsoft. And we would then have about a 60-40 mix then, 60% being more from industry, and then about 40% from the academic side. And across the academic applicants that we have, it is a very good mix of, you know, career academics or undergrads, postgrads. We do have a very good, you know, representation from sort of all spheres there.
Okay. Is it mostly, I'm sort of prejudging here, but are there a lot of apps within the businesses or any physical products?
We do have physical products as well. I'm just thinking to this year's cohort. There are physical products in terms of medtech, where it, you know, I think there's usually like an element of an app or some kind of a dashboard linking with the physical product itself. I would say probably the majority are kind of app-based services, but certainly we do have physical products coming in as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I remember there were definitely during the first 6 months, certainly, there were a couple of really good workshops that were kind of focused around building physical products. And there were some fantastic contractors came in to talk around, you know, designing physical products, manufacturing, and all those things. So, I mean, we're an app, but they were still so fascinating to go and learn about those. And there was lots of lessons that kind of work for both, but there were definitely a number of different workshops and learning pieces around physical products as well as apps.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just interested in how prominent the apps were among the businesses, but I mean, you were sort of mentioning with your UX contractor to help you with the user experience. How do you get linked up with those people in CoFounders? Is it someone in Catalyst who would have a connection with Catalyst, or would they come and talk to you as part of the course?
So we're looking to find or looking to work with a UX designer as a contractor, but it was through Catalyst that we met somebody, and he's an industry expert, and yeah, Rick Monroe, really, who works as a UX, works in UX, and he offered us so much support and guidance, and even helped us write our job description and shared the job posting with his network in order to help us find the ideal candidate to help us.
Yeah. So basically, CoFounders gave us a mentor and give us a couple of sessions with them, which they were doing pro bono. And then from there, he was able to help us with a load of different stuff we had going on, give us loads of tips on, you know, where we currently were with our research and design. And then from there, he has helped us go on to actually look at getting our own contractors that we pay for ourselves.
Do the teams use a lot of freelancers, and there's a lot of platforms nowadays where you can advertise your jobs? And I think you're maybe alluding to this here, where if you want someone, a graphic designer or something, to do a bit of work for you, does the program sort of encourage teams to use those freelance platforms or not?
I think there is the emphasis on, you know, kind of getting the skill sets that you know you're going to need within that founding team. So that would be the initial focus, but certainly, you know, towards the CoFounders Plus end of the program, we have seen a lot more, you know, teams identifying maybe they wouldn't need a co-founder with a certain skill set, but they might need to, you know, outsource certain elements to contractors. So we do definitely find that towards the end of the program that becomes more of an ask from the teams, less so at the start.
Thank you. I won't ask any more. We're probably going all day here.
Well, if you do have any more questions, just fire them through an email. You know, I'm happy to take any.
We'll be speaking at some point.
any for Pat, you know, if you didn't get their email address there, you know, feel free to send them to me. I can forward them over to Pat for you.
I'll throw it in the chat here.
That'll be perfect.
Okay, I noted it down on the way through there.
Brilliant. So any other questions, or I'm just conscious of time here. Is any others, or are we good? Lovely. Okay, well, if anyone does have any questions, you've got our email addresses there. Like I say, applications are open until next Tuesday. So if you're interested in applying, if you know anyone who's interested in applying and you do think of another question, just drop me an email. I have cleared my diary this week just to schedule in any last minute calls that people might want to have if they want to talk through their application. And thank you again, Pat. That was brilliant. And really, even for me, just to hear you summarize like your experience of the program, that was really nice. So thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending today. Really appreciate it, and hopefully speak to you soon.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Shifa.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Bye.